Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ambassador Julius Bitok, PS for Immigration and Citizen Services. And we are here this afternoon for this very important occasion of an international conference on data protection. We are really happy to be here. This conference has been organized by the Ministry of ICT and more particularly the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner. I want to say that we are here because we are the database of government. We are the custodian of data for persons who are turning 18 under National Registration Bureau, data for newborns under civil registration, data for refugees, data for all persons in Kenya under immigration. And we are really working very closely with the Ministry of ICT to ensure that we have systems that are able to guarantee the security of data for all citizens and the privacy of data. And I'm happy to say that working very closely with the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner, we have been able to conduct data protection impact assessments across our State Department, both for visa-free regime, for immigration, for National Registration Bureau, for Civil Registration Bureau. We have been able to conduct more than 10 data impact protection assessments. Even for the digital ID, we have been able to get the support from the Commissioner on all this. And I want to guarantee, or rather assure all Kenyans, that their data is safe and that the government is complying with all the regulations, all the legal framework required to ensure that their data is safe and secure for the purposes that is intended. We are not doing anything against the law. We are doing everything possible to ensure that we stick to the law in as far as ensuring that data is protected. Now, as far as this conference is concerned, this is a conference that is bringing together more than 20 countries from around Africa to be able to engage on the levels of data protection. And I want to thank the Commissioner here, the Ministry, and all stakeholders who brought together this conference to ensure that we exchange ideas of how we want to protect our data, not only as Kenya, but as continent of Africa. Thank you.
Okay, Bwana Irungu, during the panel discussion, Bwana Irungu from Amnesty International talked about discrimination and was urging the government not to discriminate people when it comes to service delivery, if they have the ID, the digital ID or not. What's your comment on that?
My comment is that the government of Kenya is in the process of rolling out digital ID for all Kenyans. And I want to say that we are on transition. We are transiting from the old generation ID to the third generation ID. And no Kenyan is going to be discriminated on the account of not being able to acquire the digital ID. So I want to assure the country that we have put in mechanisms to ensure that we have a smooth transition from the old generation ID to the digital ID, which is the third generation ID, and that no Kenyan will be discriminated. As you all may be aware, eCitizen now has more than 13 million registered users. So 13 million Kenyans are already having some kind of digital ID which they are used to identify, they are using to identify them so that they can enjoy government services. We now have more than 16,000 services online, and we collect more than 700 million per day on eCitizen, and Kenyans continually are utilizing these services. Our plan is in the short term to ensure that we are collecting 2 billion shillings per day, and we are making a lot of progress, because if you look at where we started from 50 million, now we are in 700, and in the short term, in the next few months, we should be able to get to 2 billion collections per day. And we are saying we want to ensure that about 1 million Kenyans are able to get services on a daily basis. 1 million Kenyans should be able to enjoy eCitizen services, and no Kenyan will be discriminated. In any case, the government has already announced that we have removed vetting for identity documents. Whether you want an ID, passport, there is no longer vetting for those very important documents. And that is in an effort to ensure that no Kenyan feels left out, no Kenyan is discriminated in as far as acquisition of these very important documents is concerned. And digital ID is not an exception. all Kenyans will be given an opportunity to enroll on digital ID. And to put it in context, there are 4 products in this digital ID ecosystem, what we are calling MAISHA ecosystem. In MAISHA ecosystem, we have MAISHA number, which is the number we are giving the newborns. That will be a number that runs across their lives. It will be a number in primary, number for secondary, number for university. It will be the same number for ID. The same number will be used for NSSF, for NHIF, and that number will appear in one's death certificate. The second component is what we are calling MAISHA card. This MAISHA card is a smart card which carries the MAISHA number. In your smart card, which is a 3rd generation ID, it will carry your MAISHA number. And then we also have the virtual version of it, which we are now calling MAISHA Digital ID. Instead of carrying the physical card, you can carry your phone around and be able to enjoy services using your phone. The 4th component is what we are calling MAISHA Integrated Database. We are saying we now have one database called IPRS, which connects to the entire government and is connected to e-citizens, such that if ever you want a service, you just have to check your identity through the database, which is IPRS, before you enjoy the service. And NRB, civil registration, immigration, all are connected to IPRS through interoperability, so that all services can be accessed easily without necessarily having to pick biometrics everywhere you go. Thank you.
Professor, at 13 million, that's barely half of adult population. What is the ministry doing to increase that number? And then in areas where the access is a problem, what are the resources you are available for,
I want to say that we are now at 50%. We are now at 13 million. You remember, we have just moved. E-Citizen was started about a year ago actively. And we have worked very hard to ensure that we push the numbers. On average, we are enrolling about 30,000 people every day on e-Citizen. And now we are at 13 million. And we are looking at the entire population of Kenya, which is 32 million adults. And we are saying we are halfway. And within the short time, within another 1 year to 2 years, we should have everybody having a digital ID. So we are really making a lot of progress. And we are working very closely with the ICT to ensure that there's internet everywhere in Kenya, so that, because one challenge we have as we enroll more people is connectivity in the rural areas. And ICT are also doing a lot of work to ensure that the entire country is connected with internet connectivity, so that people can enjoy their services in their comfort of their homes.
Any other question on this? Quick one. So in your speech, you talk about the Kenya moving towards integrated border management, and you also talked about cross-border transactions to minimize cost of doing business regionally. So recently Kenya was listed on the grey list on money laundering. So maybe how have you factored in this concept to avoid incidences of money laundering?
I want to say that when we talk about integrated border management, we are looking at some of the components which will be able to help our country manage its borders in more effective way by use of technology. When we talk about integrated border management, we are looking at things like e-gates, we are looking at ETA, facial recognition, and such other components which will be able to help us manage our visitors. The current system we have now is able to track anybody who comes to Kenya. We are able to know which hotel they are going to live in. We are able to monitor their security and many other components that will ensure that our country is open. As you may be aware, Kenya now is a visa-free country. Everybody from anywhere in the world only requires ETA to travel to Kenya. So integrated border management is a new generation of management of our borders to ensure that all visitors who come in are able to come in, enjoy themselves in Kenya, and travel without any inconvenience of wanting to acquire a visa. In as far as grey listing on scan, I think that's a different topic altogether. I think the government is doing everything possible to ensure that issues to do with money laundering, terrorism are contained. And I want to say that the discussion today was not focusing on that. It was focusing mainly on data and data protection.
Maybe to clarify on how you are striking the balance between efficient service delivery and protecting individual privacy rights.
I didn't quite get your question.
To clarify on how you're striking the balance between effective service delivery and maintaining privacy rights.
I want to say that before you enjoy any services on eCitizen, you need a password. And there's usually a one-time OTP, one-time password that is sent to your phone. So it is very, very secure for all citizens. And I want to call upon citizens that transacting online is the most convenient, most affordable, it's the cheapest way. And their data is very safe. Whenever you want to transact and you log into eCitizen, the system will query IPRS, which is our MAISHA integrated database, to confirm it is yourself. And then the message is sent to your phone. So it is very safe. And then you confirm it is yourself once you transact using that phone. And then now it takes you now to the agency, whether you want an ID or you want a driving license or you want a police clearance, it takes you now to the site where the police clearance is generated from. Or it takes you to where driving license is renewed from. So it's a very secure system. I want to assure the country that the system we have in place protects and secures personal data. And I want the data commissioner maybe to reaffirm the fact that we are compliant to all data requirements or other data protection requirements as provided by the law.
In as far as the issue around MAISHA number is concerned, as an office we have offered advisory, and I can confirm that we have received the data protection impact assessment from the Ministry of Interior. We have also offered a training they have been very proactive in coming to us for training, and also in addition to that we continue to do an audit. All these are part of making sure that we are securing the information that the data is and is in their custody. Like I said, issues around data protection continues to be issues of collaboration, so that we are also enhancing collaboration and compliance in as far as data protection is concerned.
There are three components. One, of course, is digital identity. You have to identify yourself. Number two is interoperability. Is a system able to talk to other systems across government? Number three is payment integration. Are we able to integrate our payments to the extent that we're able to see clearly who is paying for what? And I think in those three components, we have made a lot of progress working closely with the Ministry of ICT. Thank you.